Two big name players are being linked to several MLS teams. You have Thomas Mueller, the Bayern Munich legend, and KBD, aka Kevin De Bruyne. Sorry for the acronyms. Manchester City legend, Belgian national team legend, having several suitors potentially signing them in MLS. We're going to talk about which teams are interested in them, the likelihood of that happening, and what your thoughts are on both of these players in their mid 30s coming to Major League Soccer. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MLS Moves. Please make sure you like this video down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Now, if you've been following this channel or me on Twitter/X, you would know that I think that it's very important for MLS to sign more known players, bigger names to the league to get certain people to want to watch or take an interest in the league. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, world-class player, I think the best player in the last 10 years. Future me here, just to chime in here and say that I misspoke and meant to say best midfielder in the last 10 years, not best player in the world in the last 10 years. Before the Messi, Ronaldo, etc. stands come out and attack me. Best midfielder in the last 10 years is Kevin De Bruyne, not best player. So just want to clarify that real quick. Thomas Mueller obviously kind of tapered off the last 4 or 5 years. Not as good as what he once was, but two very well-known players that global soccer fans know the name. You need more players like this to get people interested in watching certain games. So I think that having players like this would be very beneficial to the league. Would love to know what you guys think down below. Do you think Kevin De Bruyne and Thomas Mueller signing with MLS would help them? Now, let's start off with Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, like I said, I think is the best midfielder of the last 10 years. Now, some people would argue that it's Luka Modric, but I think it's Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's the best playmaker, the best midfielder in the last 10 years, one of the best midfielders we've ever seen. He's only 33 years old. The problem with him is that he is a little injury prone at this point in his career, but when he's healthy, he's still an elite player. 33 years old, likely a DP, very, 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 very unlikely he would sign on a TAM deal, targeted allocation money. He's going to want big money if he comes here. And there's talks about potentially a Saudi team, the Division Two, trying to poach him or steal his signature and get him to come there. But if you followed Kevin De Bruyne and listened to what he said, he doesn't really have interest in moving to Saudi Arabia. He likes the American lifestyle more, I would say. It's more of a fit for him, and I think that he said his family would prefer to live in the United States. And the question is, where would he go, right? So there was the rumors the last couple months about San Diego FC being very interested in him, and the numbers really weren't working out of like what they'd be willing to pay, what he would agree to. I think there was rumors that he was wanting somewhere around 18 million a year. They were more willing, I think, to pay between 10 to 12. So pretty big difference right there. So I think that the contracts talk stalled, but there's some other teams that I think would be interested in Kevin De Bruyne. You look at New York City FC. They have a DP spot open after they sold Santiago Rodriguez to Botafogo this past beginning of the season in 2025. They have a spot open. You have Inter Miami, who I think can have a spot open. I think Jordi Alba could be bought down. He's currently a designated player. And each team, if you didn't know, gets 3 designated players, but I think he could be bought down and they would have one free spot open. Having him link up with an Inter Miami would almost be unfair, honestly, because they're already the best team in MLS. Having him there would be absolutely insane, linking up with Messi, Busquets, and Suarez and everyone else. But I still would like to think that San Diego is not completely out of it. And I think it'd be a great fit for him. I think he wants to live on the West Coast. A long time ago, 2015, I think he said he wanted to play for the LA Galaxy when he came to MLS and how he wanted to come here one day. So I think his heart is set on being on the West Coast. And really the only feasible spot for him to go on the West Coast is the the only feasible place for him to go to on the West Coast is San Diego FC. Now, I guess LAFC technically could. They'd have to maneuver some things around, but I don't think LAFC is really interested in him. I think it's more San Diego FC, maybe an Eastern Conference team like New York City FC, maybe Inter Miami. I think they're probably a long shot. I think they have their eye set on someone else. But Kevin De Bruyne at 33, I think has a lot to give still. He's very, very good when he's healthy. He's too good for MLS. Let's be honest, right? If he came here, his quality is a notch above everyone else. I would love to see Kevin De Bruyne come to MLS. The numbers just have to work for him. His family wants to be here. He is a superstar. He would change the team. San Diego, if he played for San Diego, they would be the best team in the Western Conference. They would be. If he plays for San Diego FC, they've been playing really well as an expansion team. Have a lot of good pieces. If he goes to that team, that would be the final piece that would really turn them into a true contender in Major League Soccer. Now, where would you want to see Kevin De Bruyne go? Where do you think he will go? Will he come to MLS at all? Let me know in the comment section down below. I still think he's bound for MLS. I don't think he's going to go to Saudi Arabia. I just don't think it's a fit for him. Now, moving on to the next player, Thomas Mueller, the World Cup winning secondary striker, played a couple of different positions in his time with Bayern Munich. He's 35 years old. He's only played for Bayern Munich. He's a free transfer, just like Kevin De Bruyne is this summer. He is another player that I listed as a player likely to come to MLS this summer just because it makes too much sense, and he's not going to probably stay in Europe. He's ready to move on to his next chapter of his career, and while he still has something left to give. And there's been multiple teams that have been interested in him. Now, one of the teams, LAFC, right? LAFC has a partnership with Bayern Munich, and I think Bayern Munich would want him to go to LAFC to kind of strengthen that relationship. But the problem is with LAFC is they just signed an old striker in Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud has been a huge disappointment. Now, I don't think it's necessarily his fault because of the system that they're running, and he doesn't really have a lot of opportunities to have any chances. And so he's been on the bench. They're paying him $6 million a year. He really hasn't had a chance to shine. Dolo, don't get me started on that. Absolute disaster. Do you really want to sign another 35-year-old? Well, actually, Giroud's going to be 39 this year. So do you really want to sign another 35-plus-year-old on your team that's already struggling? I just don't think it's a good fit. I really don't think that that's the fit for him. Now, the Bayern Munich and the LAFC ties obviously would help play a role in this and could help them maybe get a leg up on signing him. But for LAFC, it doesn't really make sense. I guess if you could get him on a deal like Marco Reus, like the LA Galaxy did, where he's a TAM signing, he's not DP. The LA Galaxy signed Marco Reus to a 2-year deal last year, and it was creative to give him, I think, some endorsement deals or something like that to subsidize the salary that he was getting. He's only making like $1.7 million with the Galaxy, which if you know Marco Reus, that's honestly pennies on the dollar. Like that's a bargain compared to what he's making at Dortmund. So they got creative with that. Maybe if they could get creative with this deal, it would make some sense. But I just don't see them signing him as a DP. It would hurt this team drastically. I just don't. I don't think this is a good idea for LAFC to sign him, and I don't think he would be a good fit for them. I don't think it's a good deal for either side. San Diego FC could be a sign that could be a landing spot for him if they don't sign De Bruyne. Maybe play him up top between Dreyer and Chucky Lozano, but I still think they would be better suited to get someone in the midfield like De Bruyne or someone else. I mean, San Diego's going for it. I mean, they really are trying to hit it out of the park and sign a big name and try to make this a very competitive contender in year one. And you have to admire their commitment to winning this early on. I mean, this is what you want to see. A lot of expansion teams struggle in MLS. Some of them are really good, but a lot of them are really bad. And to see what they're doing with their level of investment, with the youth academy, this first year, signing some big names, really going for it, $500 million expansion fee, which is crazy money. Who knows? This might be a good fit for him. Maybe they could get him on a sweetheart deal like the Marco Reus. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And another team that is mentioned, which this would be a very interesting signing because last I checked, Cincinnati only had like $6,000 in GAM. They don't have any money. They have no money when it comes to general allocation. I guess they could maybe move someone. They're also a team that's mentioned with him, with Thomas Mueller. I think that'd be kind of a weird fit. I don't know how he would really fit into their system. I mean, obviously, you would want to sign a player like him that would just strengthen your squad, but it really doesn't make sense as a fit. This one would probably be my least likely signing, that or St. Louis City SC. St. Louis City SC is another team that has been mentioned possibly, but because of the German connection, but I just don't think they're going to have the money to sign him. So I would probably say LAFC or San Diego are the two most likely to sign Thomas Mueller, but I don't really see him on the East Coast. Well, I think there might have been a rumor about the New York Red Bulls, maybe, but I think the New York Red Bulls might have their sights on someone else. I think that one's not as likely to happen. I think it's probably West Coast or bust for Thomas Mueller. But I would like to see him in MLS. Like I said, we need bigger names in the league. We need some people that fans recognize. So that way, when they watch the games, like, hey, I know that guy. I watched him play in the Bundesliga for 15 years. Or, hey, I know that midfielder, Kevin De Bruyne. The guy's of world class. Played for Belgium, played for Man City when they won the league like 8 times. We need more guys like that. We need more recognizable figures in this league so that when they're playing against other players like Evander, when they're playing against other players like Kevin Danke, when they're playing against, Emmanuel Latte Lot, when they're playing against those guys or Diego Luna, like most people know who Diego Luna is that watches MLS, but the casual fan doesn't know who he is. When they watch players like that play against players like this, it can build a name for themselves. That's how Alan Velasco blew up with FC Dallas back in 2023 when they played Miami. He made a name for himself and got a move to Boca Juniors a year and a half later, but that's how his name really got out there. Or Diego Gomez playing next to Messi, playing really well, got his name out there and ended up going to Brighton for a record fee for Inter Miami. So you need some names that attract fans' attention that can help build other player profiles. So I think this is very important to the league, and hopefully they can sign both of these guys on the right deal. Would love to know what you guys think down below. Would you want to sign KBD or Thomas Mueller? And if you do, where would you like to see them go? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.